Welcome back to Ship2Shore, NAVCO, the Navy Office of Community Outreach's program to interview folks around the fleet in your Navy. And it is my pleasure today to be with HN Emily Parada in San Diego. How are you this afternoon?
I'm really well, sir. How are you?
Great, great. I bet it's a lot warmer there in San Diego than it is here in Millington, Tennessee.
I'm sure it is, sir.
Must be nice. Must be nice. So before we jump into it, the importance here, of course, is about COVID-19 vaccination efforts that the Navy's involved in. But before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about you and hear a little bit more about where you're from and what you're about. So where are you from, HM?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm from Washington State, from Tri-Cities, Washington.
Where's Tri-Cities, Washington? I'm not super familiar.
It's in the eastern side of Washington State, so we don't get all of the rain. We get mostly sunny times.
What does a corpsman do? Because people out there in most places may not have heard of what a corpsman is. What is a corpsman in the Navy? What is your job?
Our job is pretty complex. We can do anything from the hospital side, which we usually call blue side. You know, you see your patients day by day. You can either work in a clinic like myself, in the immunizations clinic, and you can also work in a ward and be able to do different things, from saving lives to bringing new lives into the world and things like that. So
very, very cool. So now it's one thing to be a corpsman, during any time, right? Where you have a job and you take care of it and you serve the people in your unit around the world, wherever that may be. But how does it feel to be a corpsman in the midst of what is now a global pandemic with COVID-19?
It can be very interesting, especially right now with our COVID-19 vaccine being rolled out. I'm actually the COVID-19 medical administrative officer. So it's pretty interesting to be able to see the behind the scenes of the process of getting a vaccine to the hospital, and then the cold chain management of the vaccine there on forward, and getting a vaccine from manufacturer to the patient's arm. So it's pretty interesting for me to see the behind the scenes of everything that goes on when you're dealing with the vaccine. Usually when we get a vaccine shipment, it'll come in negative 80 degrees Celsius. We're speaking about Pfizer vaccine anyway. It'll come in its negative 80 degrees Celsius soft box with dry ice, and it's pretty complicated. You got to wear some protective gear to be able to deal with that dry ice and not hurt yourself or others. So we got to get that into a negative 80 degree ultra low freezer from there on out, and maintain the cold chain management of that vaccine. Make sure that the refrigerator temperature is in range, and we're in charge of actually distributing the vaccine to the San Diego region. So it's not just Navy, it'll be Marine groups, Air Force, reserves, things like that. So we have a really big job, some pretty big shoes to fill.
Sounds like it. How has your family helped you and supported you as a corpsman?
My family is amazing. They're the best people that I can ever ask for. Just coming from learning everything that my family has gone through when, immigrating to this country and dealing with a whole new world when they step over those borders and things like that. My parents are pretty amazing. Since day one, when I told them I wanted to join the Navy, they were always supportive. They knew changes were going to happen, and they knew that it was a really big step for me, especially because I swore in when I was 17, and they thought that, they were like, maybe she might change her mind. but now I'm doing it, and it's pretty amazing to be able to say later too. I have my son Noah, to be able to tell them, I was the first one in my family to join the Navy, and it feels pretty awesome to be able to give them that opportunity and to be able to tell them that anything's possible if you really just try.
Well, thank you. This has been another installment of Ship2Shore with HN Emily Parada in San Diego and me here